Welcome back to Hobby Jogger Elite, and welcome to my thoughts on the On Cloudeclipse, one of my favorite additions to my daily trainer rotation. In recent memory, this shoe has been an absolute joy to run in, so much so that I intended this video to just be a first impressions video when it came to my first run in it, but I just couldn't get enough of it. I was reaching for it every day after that first run, and I have now stacked up almost 70 miles on it. So I have some more complete thoughts, but before we get into them, let's take it for a spin. Giving the On Cloudeclipse its maiden voyage. Very excited to give this shoe a shot. All my initial experiences with this brand were negative from the outside looking in, to be honest, but I can say through the first mile and a half or so, feels pretty good. The On Cloudeclipse, pretty sure, is still the newest iteration of this shoe. I think it's the only iteration so far. The Cloudeclipse is supposed to be, to my understanding, max cushion offering, soft landing type of shoe, daily trainer from On. The official website and listing of this shoe didn't have stack heights when it came to the midsole. It just had the drop listed as 6 millimeters, but Running Warehouse had it as 5 millimeters, had a 40 to 35 heel to toe drop. Run Repeat, I think, had it listed as like 37 to 31. I just know that it is somewhere between 40 to 35, 37 to 31, somewhere between a 5 to 6 millimeter heel to toe drop. The outsole is doing what it needs to do. Not too much there, not too little. Elements that are necessary, nothing that isn't. The midsole, that nice max cushion, nice stable ride. The upper on this thing seems to be made of traditional engineered mesh. The upper is one of my favorite uppers that I've used as of late, and it may be that for good reasons for some people, not so great reasons for others. And I think that reason is because it is so incredibly roomy. I feel like in my prior experience with On, again, from an outside perspective, sort of looking in, everybody touted and praised the high quality materials and the just general build quality of On's uppers. And I would definitely agree with that when it comes to this upper. Again, it is just mesh, and then it has almost like a booty type of tongue. It's very similar to sort of those sock-like booty shoes that are all just sort of one piece, but the tongue is just that material. It's like mostly gusseted. It is extremely comfortable, not incredibly padded, but gets the job done. Haven't gotten any lace bite with it, but like I was saying, it is so incredibly roomy to the point where this is a size 9.5, and when it arrived and I just shoved my foot in it immediately, I thought I had ordered a size 10. So if you are somebody who is extremely particular about getting shoes that are quote unquote true to size, I would not say this fits like a typical 9.5. 9.5 is sort of my sweet spot where I have a little bit of room, but not a ton. I like my toe boxes to be a little bit wide, but not really on the longer end of things. And this gives me plenty of extra room, but in a good way. So I would say if you have a small or narrow foot, I don't think this shoe would be particularly the best fit for you, because if I had a narrower foot, I would be absolutely swimming in this upper. But I think it works well for me because I tend to like, shoes, if they're out of stock of normal width and I just have to get a wide width shoe because that's the one in my size, it's usually pretty nice to have that extra bit of wiggle room in there, and that seems to just be the case with the shoe in the standard size, so be on the lookout for that. Upon the conclusion of my first run in this, it had me thinking that this is the Cloudeclipse, the perfect blend of pretty much two of my favorite daily trainers. It is a little softer than both of those. It feels like it may just be due to the max cushioness of it, but also those little gaps there in the midsole itself kind of simulates more of a rebound, of a squish factor. But I thought of this as a pretty good combination of the New Balance Fresh Foam series, particularly with the 3rd and 4th version, and the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3. It has that pretty pronounced rocker there, and you can definitely feel that when you start to get a rhythm while you are running. I've done everything from very easy recovery runs in this up to minute on, minute off sort of intervals for a bit of a tune-up at like sub 6-minute pace, and it honestly felt pretty good doing that. I think mostly because of how well this shoe just transitions. It has this thing called, I guess, Cloudeclipse. I think that's what they're referencing when it comes to that rocker, which is very similar to what we see with the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3, which has a pretty pronounced rocker. I would say that the Shift 3 is a bit more stable because the cushioning isn't like super firm in the Shift 3, which again, one of my favorite daily trainers I've tried in recent memory, but is definitely firmer than this. I wouldn't say this is an unstable shoe, but I wouldn't say it's the most stable of sort of max cushion daily trainers. And then the roominess and sort of the general squish of it reminds me a bit of the max cushion offering from New Balance with the Fresh Foam more. So it's sort of hitting that sweet spot for me. Times that I've wished that the Endorphin Shift is a little bit softer, this is sort of like what that thought, that conception has been for me. In times when I've wanted a bit more rhythm, a bit of a cleaner transition in the New Balance Fresh Foam More series, like again, this is kind of what comes to mind. So I feel like it's been working really well for me. And overall, again, I've tried a variety of runs from, you know, just my afternoon doubles all the way up to sort of longer daily training runs, again, ranging from paces, I would say, from like 8:30 a mile, again, down to sub 6-minute pace. This would not be a workout shoe for me. I don't think I would be wanting to do mile repeats or 2-mile repeats or K repeats or anything on the track with this type of shoe. But when it comes to wanting to run an easy run or a daily training run a little bit steadier, this is probably a pretty solid shoe for it. I would take this on a long run that includes anything up to and like maybe a little bit slower than marathon pace. Again, if you're somebody who likes to use shoes that aren't plated, this might be a shoe that gets the job done when it comes to like lighter, easier workouts or just like short intervals, maybe strides at the end of an easy run. But this thing is going to take care of your legs no matter the distance that you're going. And again, most max cushion shoes are known for being more like slow plotters. I've been able to get in a decent rhythm with this shoe. So I think it is accomplishing every single task I am throwing at it when it comes to sort of that scope. And I envision myself putting many more miles on this shoe. So again, I don't know if it will be for everybody. I think the outsole does a very solid job, again, at including what it needs to, not including what it doesn't need to. Gives you that little extra bit of stability there with that speed board. Isn't a stability shoe by any means though, and the outsole seems pretty grippy. I haven't run in the rain with it, but I've run in like semi-wet conditions, and it holds up well. That midsole is absolutely amazing, and considering all of the pretty negative reviews I've heard of very firm on midsoles in the past, I feel very fortunate to have given this brand a try for the first time with the Cloudeclipse, because this midsole is one of my favorites that I have tried in recent memory. It's like the perfect amount of squish, the perfect amount of support, the perfect amount or lack thereof of stability, where it still feels like you're sort of in control of the shoe, but it is helping you through, guiding you with that Cloudtech phase transition there. And then the upper, I just love me a roomy upper, and this thing has great lockdown when it comes to everything. I've seen complaints about heel slippage, but I feel absolutely locked into this shoe. I've loved every single run I've been on it, so I cannot personally endorse a daily trainer that has come out in the past year or so more than the On Cloudeclipse. So if you've been using it, let me know. Let me know if you've given it a try and you've hated it, you've loved it, however you feel about it. Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to let me know what you've been running in lately, what your favorite shoe has been lately, and we will catch up soon. Peace.